Here we are. We're like, oh. Okay, we're live in living color.
Yes, let's toast.
Let's toast to a great show. What's up, guys? How are you doing? I have this beautiful woman right here, Miss Theresa Bowe, and we are live. We're going to talk about some awesome things. But first of all, I want to tell you thank you to come into Get Perfectly Balanced podcast, where we air every Sunday at 7 p.m. So I was speaking with Miss Theresa Bowe, and she has some awesome things to offer my audience, some great things that I think I want you guys to know. But first of all, we always want to talk about the beginning, so that any woman out there or man out there that wants to know, what they need to do to get perfectly balanced and also to start their own business or anything that you want in life, your physical, your mental, your spiritual. We're going to talk to Theresa about some things that she's been doing lately. We're going to talk about what she's got going on. Oh, I wish you would have had your book.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Okay, yeah. Right. We're just chilling, you guys, but this is raw. In here, there was some traffic problems, so that's why we're a little bit late, but thank you guys for joining us. Okay, so introduce yourself and tell everybody about your life.
Wow. I mean, in a nutshell, I'm Theresa Bowe. For those of you who do not know me, I am an author, philanthropist, a mom, a wife. I'm a luxury realtor here in South Florida. I'm a woman that wears many hats, and I say that lightly because if I ever fall short in one area, my husband quickly reminds me if I don't want to cook today, he's like, look, don't you wear many hats? So I wear many hats, but I love it. And I'm a woman that loves to stay busy. So when we talk about balanced, that's a good question.
That is a good question. And I saw you're preparing your meal right now. So, hey, that's one of your hats you're wearing. Yes. She's a mom that's also cooking some. What are you cooking tonight?
Well, I'm just making a spaghetti casserole, but, I have to make sure when we talk about being balanced, is not letting one part of your life outweigh the other. It's just like, of course, I may not be in a position where I have to cook, but I know my family do love when I cook. And I love that role of being a mom and a wife and bringing that asset to the table because not everybody can cook. So It's just like, I feel like it's an attribute that a lot of men love. My husband loves my cooking, so.
And it smells so good. So I know your husband and your beautiful kids will be happy when they come into the house and they're smelling that aroma, that spaghetti and that sauce. Yes. So I like to get started with the beginning, the baby, the very, very, very start of your life and then at where we are now. Okay. So let's talk about the baby Theresa.
Okay, my upbringing. I'm born and raised in Long Island, New York.
Hear that accent.
Long Island, New York, and I am the youngest of 8 kids. My mom was a single mom with 8 children, and a lot of things that something that I never told people before 2019 was my mom had 8 kids, different baby daddies. So It wasn't one man in our household, and because of that, I fell victim to being abused as a child sexually. I did not know what sexual abuse was until, like I said, 2019. Wow. Never spoke about it. My mom did not believe me, and it's an unfortunate crisis that happens to so many people. They're abused sexually. They tell someone, the person doesn't believe them, and they go through life harboring this horrible, horrible secret. And for me now, knowing when you do keep it a secret, that we let this predator on the loose. And it is proven that when someone sexually abuses a child, they go on to sexually abusing multiple children. So by not speaking up and telling what happens, it kind of just let this guy loose. But to make a long story short,
it was a boyfriend.
It was my mom's boyfriend.
Wow.
So my book is my mommy's boyfriend. It just tells, it's not my journey. It's just a light introduction of what sexual abuse is, just so children can understand what it looks like, because I didn't know what it looked like. No one ever spoke to me about it.
A lot of people are probably out there right now dealing with it, and you're helping them right now.
Oh my God. And it's such a journey, and it's such a blessing. But from being abused as a child, I quickly just found something to do, not to be home alone, because unfortunately our predators know when to strike. It's a grooming process. They understand when is the right time. Even when you don't even understand is the right time, they know when the right time is. And because of that, I started running track, playing volleyball, basketball, badminton, any sport that I can do to stay. Yes, my mom was always at work.
Wow. What did she do?
She was a waitress in a
Wow.
restaurant, and that's all that's what she did her whole entire life.
Wow. She's still living?
She's still living.
Wow.
Yes, she's still living. So because of the abuse, I got involved in sports. I was fortunate to get a track scholarship to Parkville, Missouri. I never, ever left the state of New York until I was offered this scholarship.
Wow.
Didn't know where Missouri was. I never heard of Missouri.
Missouri.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You know I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the crazy part. So
yeah.
I got this scholarship, went off to college, and what happened in New York to me as a child, I left behind, and I never spoke about it. I never brought it to anyone. And went through college. I became an entrepreneur quick and early because I didn't have support.
Wow.
So because of my molestation as a child, I was introduced to dancing. So I met a young lady that was from Orlando, Florida, and she was an exotic dancer. And dancers, to me, just growing up in New York, was deemed disgusting.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was just like, it was streetwalkers. So what I saw growing up, an exotic dancer was a streetwalker. There was prostitutes.
Okay.
In New York. So when I found my college schoolmate, a stripper in college, I'm like, what is going on? But she was such a sweet girl. So it kind of killed the stigma of what I thought about strippers,
right?
Just by knowing her. But after seeing all the money she was bringing in legally, I was like, wait a minute, I am broke, and my mama can't help me, nobody can help me, and I do not want to depend on a man.
Deal. Yes.
Started dancing,
and
I didn't like it at all. But I did like the freedom, financial freedom that it gave me. So I quickly thought of a plan. How do I do this and not become a stripper? Because I walked in this door and there was a 48-year-old lady on stage. And I was like, wait a minute.
What?
48.
I've never heard of
20
that.
At this time. I'm like, what? It looked like my mama up there. So I was like, I do not want that to be me. This young lady was stripping her whole entire life. So a lot of dancers dance forever because they don't have a plan B. And this is what forced me immediately to understand, like, I don't want to be here. I'm embarrassed of this, but the money is great. What can I do? So I danced every day for 2 years straight.
Stripped?
Yes.
So did anyone know that?
Like, no, I took my show on the road. I actually went to St. Louis. So Jay, I think it is.
Yeah. Girl, no.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a journey, and I'm proud of it now, or whatever. Because I did 2 years. I would go to college.
You made a lot of money too.
A whole lot of money. Breaks, weekends. I never went back home to New York. I just dance every chance I got, and I saved up enough money to purchase a liquor store. So my first entrepreneur journey was a liquor store in Kansas City, Kansas. So that's when I quit dancing. Saved up, got my liquor store. From there, I went on to selling lace front wigs because I'm from New York, and Mary J. Blige and Tyra Banks. Lace wig was big and major.
Big.
But this is how I became an entrepreneur. So my dancing journey actually put me on my feet to be an entrepreneur, and it's like I'm grateful for, and I respect dancers a lot more than I went into it.
I have some friends that I know, some people that started out like that. So I mean, like you said, taking that from the dancing to a business, you were always meant to be a business.
Listen, when I tell you, I just think it was me knowing that my mom was raising us on survival.
Yes.
And one thing I vowed not to ever do was need a man. I wanted a man, but I was not going to need a man that can dangle money over my head and make me feel like I was obligated to do things because I needed him financially. So it was a driving force looking at my mom and just seeing what she went through my whole entire life.
Well, your mama went through this. You went through this. What about your siblings?
Oh. Speaking of siblings, never spoke with them prior to me going on the OWN Network. I was on Love Goals. It aired 2020, March 2020. Love Goals on the OWN Network, guys.
Now you guys know about that?
Yeah. So when it aired, and obviously my whole entire family got to see the show,
right? And
I talked about it. All of my sisters came to me and let me know they were molested by the same man.
And you never knew this?
Never knew. So in certain communities, I don't want to say the Black community, but in a lot of communities, it's something that pretty much people hide.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it because it's always someone that you know. 9 times out of 10, 98% of our predators are people that we know, love, and trust. And that's the mamas, the daddies, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, the friends. It's always someone that you know. So you protect these people and you don't tell and you don't get them in trouble with where they need to be. They're not.
Woo. And you're right. It is always the people that you know. And it's people that are close enough,
Mhm.
right there in your family. Now, he didn't have any children. How your mom did.
No.
Oh.
He was just a mama's boyfriend who was a married man, and he had a whole nother family. And it just makes me think now as an adult, like, was he molesting his family in his household, or was he just striking on other people's family that he got close to? But either
Did
way
he ever
it
go to
goes,
jail? I mean, where?
well, he's deceased now. He did not obviously go to jail during, while he was living, that I know of, because of this. Um, but one thing I vow not to do is to let negative things that happen to me or may happen to me bring me down, because I feel like this actually uplifted me.
Yes.
And it
Makes you
creates
strong.
Yes.
Makes you very strong.
It strikes something in me. It's like it lit a fire. And now that I know, I knew no educational facts on child abuse, child molestation, anything. I never ever took the time to do any research because it was a secret. Now it's like I'm not talking about it. But now that I do know that 98% of child sex abuse is preventable through education and awareness, it lit a fire in my butt. That's why I went and wrote the children's book that educates children.
What year did you write that book?
I wrote it immediately following 2019. So it was available 2020, March 2020 when the show aired. I was able to release the book. So I did the book
from the link.
October, March. My book was ready, printed.
Girl, oh my God. I remember when I first met you, that was, as a nurse, we were getting our CEUs, continuing education units, and you were speaking on this. And the same exact year, like you said, all nurses everywhere were scheduled to learn about sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And this is so important. And so, I'm glad that you told your story. I'm glad that you saved someone. And the link is in this email. So, in this YouTube. So everyone check out the book and go support Theresa.
Yes.
So this brought you, it didn't, like they say, sometimes what hurts you heals you and then helps you help others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thank you for that, because it wasn't easy.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Now, your sisters, they get help?
No, they didn't get help. A lot of people don't feel like they need help after time goes on. But I just did a show in Dallas, and I brought up the Don't Touch Me movement. That's the movement that is tied to my book and everything about child abuse. But I brought it up, and there was a 58-year-old woman in the audience. And she was actually a friend of someone's that came with her, and they was friends for 15 years. And because I mentioned it, and Cinderella was there beside me, she talked about it, and some other women. She was open enough to talk about her journey, that she was molested as a child at 6 years old.
She never told anybody?
Never told anyone.
Wow, Theresa, you are saving lives.
And she cried, and it was such an emotional moment. But, I'm like, you made it. Look at you.
Yes.
Like, your story now is going to save people. It's going to help people, because just like my story made you feel comfortable to release it. Once you release it, it's like a load lifted off your chest, because you realize that it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
A lot of us, we walk around through life and we think it's our fault. It's not our fault. We did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
There's no way as a child someone can manipulate you to do something that bad. And we don't know that it's wrong. We don't even identify what we're going through until you're educated on it. So I just know there's so many women out there, and it's just like, if you are listening to this and you have been through this, or someone have been through this, I mean, just like Sheila and I are talking, talk about it. Get help.
Get help.
A lot of people need counseling.
Yes.
Everyone doesn't walk out on the same side that I did. It damages a lot of people. And so
relationships, not just the people, but the relationships that they have. They're maybe a subconscious block that they're not admitting to, so they're not able to be their authentic self, who God intended them to be. Yes.
A lot of things.
Relationships, yes. And not only, since this is Get Perfectly Balanced podcast, not only relationships, but the inner selves. People can end up becoming sick because of this. Because what we're thinking mentally and what we're blocking the flow of our energy, it can cause autoimmune diseases, blood pressure problems, obesity. I mean, there's so many things that people don't realize, that could have been. Now tell me about the event that you were saying you had an event. You were at an event. Can you talk about that event and what the purpose of that event is?
So through the journey of Love Goals, I birthed Don't Touch Me. So Don't Touch Me is a movement that's strictly geared around child sex abuse. Quickly realized that it's not as easy to walk into places and be welcome when I'm talking about child sex abuse.
Right.
So I realized that education starts with women and adults. 68% of our children are educated by women. So I always mentor women. I always help women reach their goals. I have a close knit of grown women, and I was like, wow, let me create a platform to bring us women together, but to help them. And as I'm helping them, when you add value to somebody, you'll be amazed at the value that somebody is going to give back. So I'm not always looking for someone to give me value, but I do understand that it is reciprocated, especially amongst women.
Yes.
We are natural reciprocators, but
Really
the platform of Heels and Motivation was put together basically to help people reach their goals, to connect, to inspire, and to educate. So the educational part, I was like, this is a great platform to help women understand how important it is to educate our children. My mom, I did not forgive her at first. I was so angry with her when I thought about it. I'm like, wow. But prior to October 2019, my daughter was 2 years old at the time. I did not know I was supposed to educate my child on child sex abuse and what to do. So I quickly came home and I set my 2-year-old daughter down and I was like, look, if anyone, let me tell you the parts of your body that no one has permission to touch. Let me tell you what to do. If this happens, make sure you tell me. If I don't believe you, I laid it out.
Yeah.
2 years old, my daughter understood and she got it. She's 4 today. So she knows exactly what to do. My mom, no one told her to educate her children.
Wow.
It probably happened to her.
Girl,
I was just
gonna ask you that.
Generational curses.
Wow, you never asked her.
Never asked her.
And
she
I'm
probably
so
curious.
Do you think she would say anything?
Oh, well, my mom is, she's older. She's in her 80s now. And, she's been through some sicknesses. So I don't think she's like in her great state of mind.
Yeah.
So now that I'm okay and I'm healing and I'm great, I don't even want to just badger her. I don't want to make her feel like now it's you did this, you did this. She did a great job raising me. The rest that she knew how. So that's all I could do. I give her 2 thumbs up. Yeah. Because she did what she knew
for 8 kids. I mean, she was working a lot to help, put food on the table.
So now it's up to us.
Yeah.
So as I'm speaking to all the women at Heels and Motivation, I'm like, it's every woman in this room, it is your fault if you do not educate your kid and something happens, because child safety is an adult's job.
Yes, it is.
It's not a child's job to go get educated from the friends in school or the friends in the neighborhood or someone else's parents or the strangers. It's our job to tell our kids the things that our schools don't teach our children.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, me as a nurse working directly with the kids. I mean, sometimes there were cases where we had to, report abuse. We're mandated to do that.
Right.
And so sometimes even, that's what touched me with you going out to the schools and educating schools about it, is because I was like, let me know. I'm for my kids. I want to protect them. And I want to do whatever I can to help spread the word and teaching our kids. I think is very important. So I was like, hey, that's how we kept on getting in touch with each other and just kind of like, hey, Theresa, what's going on? So,
well, when I met you and the fact that you guys had to go through the training for sex trafficking, I was like, wow, sex trafficking has been around a long time, okay? And I feel like so has child sex abuse.
Yes.
And I just don't understand to this day how one is more important than the other. So they put this in front of nurses and teachers and all of the people around us, like, oh, sex trafficking, but 70% of people that's been sex trafficked was sexually abused as a child. So why is it that we can't talk about that in our schools? Why is it that there's not a curriculum in place for children to learn about this in school, but we want to teach them stop, drop, and roll and things that is important? It's so many programs that I'm like, wow, this is more prevalent than the fact that somebody can be sexually abused and ruined for the rest of their lives. Drink it. Like, it's just a lot. So as I'm an advocate for child sex abuse, it goes hand in hand with human sex trafficking. But when I talk about the core and the root of the problem, is sexual abuse. And, before all of those things, if we help a child understand what they should not do, what's not acceptable, we can stop a lot of things when it comes to sex trafficking and sex abuse as a whole.
I think that is a very tough subject that some people are afraid of talking about. And I'm so proud of you for being an advocate, sticking to it. I mean, from the day that I met you, you have been, going hard, hiring women. The conversations that even we have, you're like, Sheila, hey, this is good, this is bad, this is better. I want to see you, I want to see you thrive. So I love that, just pouring into women. And I saw all the great things that were happening with Hills. Motivation. I was like, oh my God, I want to be there.
So beautiful. It's amazing. I thank God. I don't take lightly the women that allow me to pour into them. And it's just like through experience, I've made a lot of mistakes in life. And it's like, I'm grateful to take those mistakes and now know what not to do. Now know what can make things flow easier. That's why when I meet a woman like you and I do see your journey, I'm grateful for you. Like I said, you allow me to pour into you. You're not taking, everyone's not coachable. You know what I mean? So it's just like everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to soar, but a lot of people cannot take constructive criticism. They take it the wrong way, as if I'm thinking I'm better than you. But we have to understand everyone has different experiences. So I truly appreciate you allowing me to pour into you, and you allow me to even, like, you considering allowing me to help you with certain things. That's a blessing. Yeah, that is a true blessing, because a lot of people, they're not open to growth and change. And that's why they're stagnant.
And you know what? I feel like, back to being stuck, I think that some people, depending on what they went through in life, they're not ready for that, because the advance means they have to give away something. To be, on top, you have to, you have to be ready for everything that it comes with, because being up there gets lonely sometimes. And some people are happy to be down here, because then they have to deal with the things that they don't want to deal with. And that could be the reason why everyone is not able to allow you to be pouring into them, and they're not teachable, because they're stuck in something. I don't know what it could be, but they're stuck in something and they are afraid to grow.
But you want to know what I've learned just through my real estate journey? Everybody's not going to be for you. Everyone's not going to like you, and everyone's not going to want to work with you. You got to be okay with that. I'm okay with that. When it comes to real estate, if I meet someone and they're not interested in working with me, bless them. Give them, I hope that you have luck if you ever need me, whatever. I don't beg anyone to be a part of my journey. I've done that before. Where I wanted somebody to be a part of my journey so bad, I wanted to be a part of theirs, and it just was not meant to be. So I don't fight for certain things, and I just know there's something for everybody. So who's for me? It's for me. So as I go from city to city, and I put Great Hills in motivation, the women that attend, they genuinely want to learn something, and they like something about me, and they know it's something that I can help them with. The women that don't attend or say, I'm going to come, and they don't show up, that's fine. I'm not for them. And it's okay. You're not going to be for everybody.
And that's good that you said that, because really, everyone that was there was meant to be there. Everyone that wasn't, bye, Sarah, sit so long, whatever you got to do it. Because God knows what He wants to put in your path, and you're so kind to help others, but sometimes those others can help you too, and you never really think about it. You're there on the stage, saying, okay, I'm pouring into you. There might be that one person out there that can pour into you.
I agree. I totally agree. That's why I never ever take someone's phone number with the intent of not using it. So if I take someone's phone number, I may not call for a week, but I'm going to touch base with the person, because you just never know what's birthed just by you reaching out to them. And I don't reach out with expectations. A lot of times when things are meant to be, it happens so naturally and so effortlessly. You don't have to force things that's supposed to, that's meant to be. You could just, when you shared your business with me, you didn't share it with me thinking I was going to give you advice or try to help you be better. That's the part right there. It's like you just shared it because this is what I'm doing, Theresa. But now if I'm able to give you some insight or put you in a position to help you be better, that's what the power of connection is. Like when things happen naturally, it just happens, and it's amazing.
You mentioned real estate.
Yes.
Let's get on the real estate.
Real estate, 15 years in the game, or whatever. 15 years. I started, in Kansas City, Missouri. I met my husband trying to sell him a house.
Ooh, that part. Wait. We don't want to hear this.
Listen,
The
there
women
was
want to hear
no-
this part.
There was no love interest. I was a woman about my coins and about building my own wealth or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, he got drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I knew one of the teammates, and they all came looking for places, and I was trying to sell all of them homes. I wasn't successful with everyone,
Mhm.
but Bo and I were just friends. There was no love interest. I was in a relationship. He was in a relationship, and it was just strictly professional. And time went on, and years went on, and we just remained friends. And we both became single, and we both started hanging around each other based off of someone else. And that's how it started.
Well, this was in Kansas City?
Yes.
Wow.
So it was amazing. You know.
So you started real estate in Kansas City,
Mhm.
and you were high end there?
Well, it's only so much high end in Kansas City.
Yeah, no, I'm like,
Price range is completely different. But
Kansas and St. Louis for real.
I branded myself as a luxury realtor here in Miami because this is the luxury city
Yes,
and everything.
yes.
The price point is amazing. So as a realtor here, it's easy to soar because the average price point is $350, where
Wow.
$350 in Kansas City is like a home.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference. But I don't only do luxury real estate. I brand myself that way because if someone has a $3, $4, $5 million home, they're looking for a luxury agent. They're not looking for someone that does not look the part or cannot market their home the part. So I went through the extensive learning and training to make sure I had the tools to market a $6 million home or a $20 million home. It's expertise, and it's different. It's different. It takes a lot more.
You're working on that real estate, just like everything else. You're very serious about it. You're very strategic on how you're going to get it. Like you said, you coined yourself as a luxury real estate agent so that you can get those clients.
Yes.
And someone out there may be hesitant to actually try to up their game, even in real estate. So here you are giving them the tools to show them that believing in themselves, believing that they are capable of that is important, because that really starts within yourself, and knowing that you can do it.
Right. You know, as you and I spoke, anything that you do it 100%. So as I do real estate, I had someone call me last week to help me boost my real estate business, and I told them that I'm comfortable exactly where I am. My business runs strictly off of referrals, and I'm completely content that way. When you get business off of referrals, people have told the other people about you, and they're happy and they're excited. I love working with people that's excited to work with me.
Yes, yes.
Like I said, there's going to be people that you go seek that's just not for you, and you're going to put a lot of effort and time into something that's not going to manifest. So I strictly work off of referrals, but when I'm doing a rental or a sale, I treat my clients completely the same. Yeah. So a lot of times rentals manifest into sales. And a lot of agents, they shy away from rentals because, it's not a lucrative situation. People are always into it for gusto. And I just know it all adds up. That's why I'm a woman of many hats, and I do multiple things. It all adds up. Like I said, I may rent to you this year, and next year you buy. Or you may never buy, but you may refer me somebody that's going to.
That's hard.
Yeah. So that it makes sense.
Part, and the relationship you see, real estate is about relationships.
About it.
And so you never, like you said, you never know. Like this person may be like, Theresa was great at this rental, and now here you are, and they're knocking on your door for the next big thing.
But as we talk about perfectly balanced, let me just cut this thing off. I'll be right back.
All right.
Perfectly
balanced. Yes, this is awesome, guys. I hope you guys are really getting something out of this. Theresa has really talked about a lot of things in life, and you would probably look at her and be like, okay, you know what? I don't know where to start. I don't know, the things that I've gone through, if I am capable of doing that. And I think that we all are capable, because if you think about it, we really kind of don't think about how powerful we are, and we're here for others, and we're here to help others. It's not just about us. So if you think that just being mediocre is okay, then think again, because you're here for someone else, and you can't help them if you're just mediocre. You got to really strive to be the best that you can be. And like Theresa said, it is really, really, really majorly about the connections that you have, people that you meet. And we can't just go around life just living for ourselves. Relationships with your community, relationships with your significant other, friends, family is very important. That connection that you have, genuine connection that you have. So I want you guys to really take a look at your life and try to find out where there is a need and your niche. Finding your niche is very important because you could be a person that may feel like I don't have anything to offer, but your story is very important, and it's how you can help others. Use that story to help others. So, how's food?
Amazing.
Good.
Multitask.
Yes. So we got the Hills and Motivation. We have the real estate. We have. Did we miss anything?
Don't Touch Me.
Don't Touch Me. The book. Yes.
Yes, my mommy's boyfriend. And then my husband's music career, 82 Entertainment. We started that 3 years ago. And I help produce the videos, and I do the day-to-day operations when it comes to the music label. There's a lot that goes into music. So a lot of people see the artist, and that's all they see and hear is the music. But behind the scenes, there's split sheets and side artist agreements and producer agreements, and it's a lot that goes on to make sure everything legally flows and people are not sued. So when it comes to hearing a artist rap over a beat, the person that made the beat, it's like a whole ordeal that has to be rectified before the music is actually released, copywritten with the music. It's a lot. So that alone is something else that we do. And it's a lot, but I love it. But if you look at a lot of his videos,
your birthday's coming up too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just thought about that. I was like, wait a minute, I'm thinking about videos. It just came up to me to like, okay, you can have like this cool video party, and also your birthday party. I'm just like Aquarius. Yeah, I'm Aquarius. I'm like always thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. But so his career, he's got, a lot of things that you're doing to help him even with that.
Yes.
And you just self-taught yourself, girl.
Yes. I love it. Business is like my husband always talks about. He's like, you just love business or whatever. Like, it's not about the money for you. It's just you just want. It's just something that it just feels good.
Yeah, it's good. Here comes the babies.
We talk about.
Hi, beautiful. You said hi. Look at those eyes.
You said hi, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Look at those eyes. Mommy's got a package. She's beautiful. So, so then we talk about your husband's career and your help in that career. Now, you were self-taught, so there might be some people out here that want to start their own business. And is he rapping? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, my nephew did that too.
Yeah, he's an artist. He's a music artist. He also has director label, so he also seeks talent and producers and so forth and so on. He's talented. He's been doing music since I've known him.
Oh, wow.
I mean, even through his NFL career, he was always in tune with music. Yeah. And now to see him embark upon this journey for himself, it's a big deal, and it's amazing just to watch him grow and get better at it.
I love that. Now, my nephew, like back in the day, he was a teenager, and man, we thought he was just, amazing. And I don't think that he got his props, because when I listen to the records on the radio, I'm like, man, we may have to check, check your out,
And depends on who and what. But it's a lot, and it's amazing. So as I love business, and I realized that I can't keep starting businesses on my own, I just recently created a platform. It's called Get Started.
Oh,
so Get Started
is
amazing, because I'm excited. I'm going to introduce it in DC. I was hoping to introduce it in Dallas, but it wasn't ready. First, it was just going to be geared to certain careers, things that I know how to do. So pretty much if someone's embarking upon the music career, we would provide certain things. If somebody's embarking upon becoming a realtor, we would provide certain things. But now it's pretty much I'm going to gear it towards you give me an idea and I give you a business. Ooh. So it's literally people out there that's looking to start a business but don't know how. They reach me.
This is amazing. Some people are going to be reaching out to you. They're writing this stuff down right now. They're going to be reaching out to you. You're going to be busy.
I love it. So that takes a team. So it won't just be me, but a lot of people don't know how to start an LLC or get their tax ID number or just do anything that makes their business legit and makes it a real business. So
I love that.
Get started. That's all it takes for us to get started. Most people have these things in their head and they don't know how to get started. So
you have a nonprofit also, right?
Yeah, it's called 82 Ways.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So my husband and I, we both had nonprofits coming in together. We merged because we felt like we both have big hearts. We do a lot of different things, even when it came to COVID. Yes, we do a lot. So we realized that it's 82 ways to make a difference. Why choose just one? So we're hoping to force the 82 different causes in a lifetime. And, if it doesn't happen in our lifetime, we have our children that we will need the nonprofit to get to those 82 ways. Right now, we only have 3.
So what did you do in those 3 ways so far?
The 3 ways is Hills and Motivation.
Okay.
Don't Touch Me.
Okay.
And grandparents raising grandchildren. So he was raised by his grandmother. So we do things for the grandparents that's raising the grandchildren.
That happens a lot. Like I said, working in schools, I see that a lot where the grandparents are, given custody. Parents are not, doing their part.
A lot.
And they're elderly, they're sickly. So I think that is an amazing, nonprofit. I love that. I love that you're giving back. And no one really, I don't see too many people, concerned with that.
Right. It happens. And, that's dear to his heart. His grandmother was his everything. She rescued him as a child, and she did such an amazing job raising him. And, she's one of the reasons why him and I made it to marriage. She supported our relationship, and she gave such sound advice, and she wasn't impartial on her decisions when it came to him or I. So it was.
She's an old school grandma.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yes, and
she passed away. She passed away when my daughter was born, like literally probably 2 months later.
Oh, wow.
Like, I feel like my daughter's living her, like she's living through Dorothy. Yeah, so I feel like my daughter, like she's living through my daughter. My daughter is so wise beyond her years and like so witty. She's so pretty, but it's just
so cute. Like a chance to meet the baby girl. She should probably enjoy, and along with your son. Yeah. What's his name?
Dwayne. He's a junior.
Okay, and your daughter's?
Rain. So our last name is Bowe, so I didn't give her a middle name, so she just Rainbow.
Oh, so cute. I love that. How do you spell Rain?
Rayne.
Oh, cute. Okay, so you got these things going on. Tell me about your balancing and your your whole wellness wheel. So tell me a little bit about that, because there's women out there that want to start a business. But then when you start a business, that takes away from some things that happen within your life. So tell me how you find out.
So it's not easy. So I wouldn't sit here and pretend that, it's always easy and that, I always give the equal amount of time needed to everything in my life. But I feel like you got to have a support team around you. You got to have people that support your vision and your dream, because a lot of times you may not sleep as much as you need to sleep. You may not have the time to do the things that people around you want to do. Sometimes your friends may want to go eat dinner or go to a club, and you have to be disciplined enough to say no. So a lot of times, as you're on the building side of anything, you have to make sacrifices. And like I said, if you don't have an understanding partner, if you don't have understanding friends, it can sever a lot of relationships. So I find balance with my support team, because everyone do understand that when it comes to a business, it's like a baby.
It is. It really is.
It's just like, as you have that baby, now you got to raise that child, which is that business. And a lot of times, if you neglect it, just like if you neglect the child, something goes wrong. So when it comes to that, I do know what's important. I do know when I have to do something that's going to get done. I'm not going to just like, this is more important.
Right.
So through it all, I don't forget my husband, because I do know that just like I need to be nurtured and loved and hugged and kissed and dates and all of the things, like men did the same thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times there's so many successful women that's chasing, their dream, and they want to be independent boss.
Yeah.
That they look around and they think it's so easy. It's not, but you just got to know, if you are in a marriage or a relationship, you still have foremost.
Yeah. So how long have you been married?
We've been married 4 years.
Wow.
We've been together 12.
Oh my goodness.
Been living together for 11 or 10 years.
Really? Wow. So Do you think that there's a difference from you being living together and then the marriage?
The only difference is it's a different level of security. You know, and I'll be the first to admit that it's like marriage is a different sense of security. You know that your partner can't just tell you to get out, or you know, take your car, or you can't take his car. You know, it's just it's security, and you know that the person that you chose, this is both of our first marriage and our last marriage. I'm gonna speak that into existence.
That's right.
First and last marriage. So
what?
The fact that we chose to do this with each other when we both had other boyfriends and girlfriends, that makes it that much more special because we took a step, a commitment that we didn't do with anyone else. So for me, it means so much more. It's not like this is a second marriage or third marriage. Like, oh, you're just playing with this.
No.
Like, this is serious.
This is serious, baby. So why did it take that long
for us to get married?
Yes.
So he was in the height of his career.
Okay.
As a football player, and it comes with a lot, you know, like when it comes to these guys in these high profile lives, it's the strip clubs, it's the strippers, it's the traveling, it's a lot of things that as a wife you would not want to put your husband or see your husband in that position. So truly speaking, I felt like marriage and being with somebody forever is a really long time. So whether we get married in year 3 or year 5, and it took to year 9 or 10, if we're going to be together forever, you know, it's worth the wait. I'm not going to rush you to be in a position that you're not ready to be in because no one wants their husband in the strip club 3 nights a week. So I just felt like if it was meant to be, it's going to be. If it's not, you know, it's not. So I just took that.
And you guys are so cute together. I love how your communication is, even looking at love posts. You guys go check it out. But I mean, you know, you gave him some really like legit, you know, things to think about, you know, and I love how you stood up. Like all women stand up and tell them, you know, hey, I don't like this. This is what I like. This is what I want. This is what I deserve. Right. And he really received those things.
Well, I knew I was stepping into a non-traditional relationship from the very beginning, just because of how he was brought up and just what came with him. And it's fine because my life was not traditional either. Right. But when it comes to a relationship and nurturing your children and raising your children, even like nurturing your relationship, there's certain things that is not conducive of what's healthy.
Yeah.
So I just knew some changes needed to be made. Yeah. So it was just like, it got to a point where I had to put my foot down. I'm like, okay, it's either one or the other because it can't be both. And I just thank God he was mature enough to understand it and really see it for what it is. And when it came to childhood trauma, I really realized all the insecurities that I had about these men being around had nothing to do more than knowing my fear of molestation for my children. And I was like, wow, you know, picking up my daughter or being around my daughter or my son, because little boys get molested as well.
Yes.
You know, it was just more to it than these guys being around. But I just didn't understand why these men always wanted to be around. Something is wrong with that.
That's like, the one I keep.
Anybody see this?
I saw that.
Away from you.
I know. I saw that. I was like, but you know, I didn't think about it when you were saying that episode. I didn't think about it in that way because I remember when I was younger and my dad was adamant. Now I am the baby of 10, and he was adamant about he had a friend, and this man wanted us to sit on his doggone lap, and my dad was like, no, you not sitting on nobody's lap. And I'm like, wait a minute. And that's for you to have, like you said, the baby girl, the baby boy, like you said, being protective. Man, did you have like flashbacks? I mean, because that's really post-traumatic stress.
I didn't have flashbacks. I just know what's missing.
Yeah.
And you can't look at a predator and tell you're a predator.
No, you sure can't.
It's always somebody you know, love, and trust.
So, even working in schools, girl, there are predators there. I don't know how they get past. I know, you know, there are cases where, you know, people want to work in the school so they can get close to those kids. Right. Like you said, manipulate them, grooming them. Man, this is serious, you know.
Process.
Yeah, it's real serious as well. Yeah. I'm so glad that you came out on the other side, like you said. But it's a process that is going to be you getting stronger every day. And sometimes, we find ourselves being busy, so that we don't think about it. So, flipping that back to spending more time with you and getting, into the self care and loving on you, those are the things that I love to see because now you're delegating, for the things that you don't have to do, right? And giving back to you, your husband, your family, your daughter needs you, your son needs you, and then looking good on top of that.
It's a job, ladies, you gotta keep yourself up, that requires a whole nother.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Because ain't nobody here to do your makeup.
Yeah, it's just
and
like
you doing
you have
good.
You have to. Being a woman is a full-time job.
Full-time job. I was listening. Someone said this, and it was so funny because they were saying men have, you know how people say 50-50? It's like, it ain't no 50-50. Because, right? Because, okay, here it is. Okay, the man could be the provider because, some men want, that's what they want, the title to be the provider. But you providing also, right? So you got the 50-50 where the men says, okay, it's 50-50, so I'm providing, and then you are providing too. But who's the majority person? I don't know anybody that is not a woman that are taking care of the kids. Like, that ain't 50-50.
So it's a whole lot, but it's a blessing because things could be a lot different.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, and there's so many women out here looking for a healthy relationship and a great man, and they're getting more scarce by the day.
Oh my God,
and
it's true.
Have a good one. It comes with a lot of things, and it's our job and our duty once you link with somebody to make sure each other's happy.
Yeah,
your priority. So I'm grateful for my partner. It's my best friend.
Sweet.
Through the ups and downs. I mean, I know it's going to happen. I know things are going to come with. It's a part of the territory. Yeah. I don't wake up every day and think it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I just know if something does happen, how are we going to get through this? That's immediately how do we fix this?
Yeah.
That's all I want to figure out is what the problem is and the solution. We move on.
So in a relationship, have you ever you guys had counseling?
We've had counseling only on the show, like through the show and after the show. So prior to that, we never did counseling, but I'm a fan of it, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's going through anything mentally, emotionally, physically. It's just counseling. Therapy is essential.
Yeah, I think that's important. Therapy. I've spoken with a lot of therapists, and therapy is very, very, very strong now with a lot of things that are going on in the world, and so I think that is very, very positive for Black families,
right?
Because I think that men. It's a stigmatism. Like, ain't nobody gonna know my business.
Right.
I don't want nobody to be listening to what me and you have going on, So, but it's healthy because then you get that person as a mediator,
right?
That can help you.
Makes a big deal. So therapy, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah,
two
thumbs up, not just one, not one. So we're gonna let everyone kind of think about the things that we talked about. And find out what helps them more. If you want to find out more about real estate, find out more about, being an author. And then we'll post your book up to being an author. All the things, having a nonprofit that you're doing is amazing. The artist world, signing on artists and things like that. Does he have any shows coming up? Your husband have anything?
His next show is like the big one is November. Is the Orlando, the classics that they do once a year there.
Oh, okay.
So that's like his next big thing or whatever. There's a lot of artists that go there.
Wow. And
it's a huge weekend, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
they're geared up for these things. It's a whole production.
Yeah.
So
and you're doing it. You're
rocking it about this.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for joining us and spending some time with Theresa Bowe and Sheila Cunningham. We appreciate everything that you guys have done. Like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome interviews. We will have Theresa come back again so that we can have the book and we can have more about her tour. You have one more date?
Yes,
the last date?
For Hills of Motivation, we have another date, August 29th, and then we have November the 5th in Kansas City. That's when we're going to end it, our second home. And right after August, I'll be on a book tour. So I'll be in and out of schools, leading through the whole entire school year. It's just all about my book. It's all about helping these these kids. School is open. We can go back outside now.
Yes.
So I'm excited to touch the lives of these little human beings.
Yes, I think that's awesome. I am excited about the school year. The kids are excited. This is a different world that they had to be subjected to. Were your kids at school? Are they homeschooled?
No, school.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing I don't have the capacity to do is homeschool. That's a
Oh, honey, that's a whole.
That's a whole.
It's like going to school. They like school too, though.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not me.
That's not
homeschooling. I don't have the patience for that.
I know. It was so many parents, honey. They was going through on their homeschool.
You gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you do a lot. You don't
and it's
have
like
to do that.
we all have to admit what we're good at.
Yeah.
And we do those things, and the things that we're not good at, we get help. Do not try to do the things that you're not good at. I'm serious. That's when you need therapy.
Yeah.
That's when therapy.
The therapy is in need. So I want to thank you guys for joining us again, like I said, and we'll come back and talk to you guys later. And if you have any questions, just reach out, follow Theresa. And you have a YouTube channel too?
No, I don't. I just, do my social media handles.
That's good, yeah.
Instagram is the real Theresa Bowe. And that's mainly the one that I'm on. Facebook is my name, Theresa Bowe. But this is real life.
Real life, guys. Live. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Love you. See you later. All right. That was very